genetically, the people of Israel and the people of Palestine are of the same basic genetic stock. They are of the same humanity. We're all of the same root race. We're all one race. But when we say of the same genetic stock, we mean a little closer in history, within 3,000-4,000 years, they are genetically the same peoples. 10,000 years. So Israel was displaced. It was displaced throughout the world. This is not the first time such has happened to Israel, and it is not the first time such has happened to other peoples. It has been throughout history a practice often for an invading army to send some of the peoples out to various other areas to make them easier to control or to help them assimilate into society better. Because of an evangelical fundamentalist fervor in the United States of America, and because of a literal interpretation of scriptures that had been widely accepted as a spiritualized version of understanding, even a Kabbalic system. But because of the evangelical fundamentalists of the United States, the Christians, they thought they had to have a state of Israel so they could see their Messiah come back. So they helped promote Zionism. They weren't patient enough to think, oh, if it's going to happen, let God do it. No, they said, well, God wants us to do it. We're going to do it. We'll do it for God. We'll do it in spite of God. Well, people had already been dispersed from that land. How many years had the Palestinians been living on that land? We've often used this metaphor. What do you think would happen if all of those who have fled Cuba for Miami were to suddenly want to go back to Cuba? Do you think there would not be fights over land? There are families now that have lived there for 50 years. Go to Palestine, there were families that were displaced that had lived there for hundreds of years. And it wasn't enough that the one displacement happened, because if it had been the one displacement and the country then actually said, these are the set borders, and they had held to that. But no, they decided, we're going to grow. And so they start displacing more and more people. You cannot take people away from their homes, from what has been in the families for generations, not provide them an adequate place to go to, and expect there not to be a problem. Oh, if Israel wanted to displace these people and these people wanted to go to America or China or Japan or even become a part of Israel, there wouldn't be a problem. But you're simply saying, I'm going to take your homeland and, well, you can go live in poverty. We don't care what happens to you. We're taking this land. It is our right. It is divine right. It is divine right, just like the Pope said it was the divine right for all the Europeans to come over and kill the Native Americans. It wasn't. It isn't. but it was the divine right that the Pope claimed. Oh, thank you for the horrible promotion of a just war. There is no such thing as a just war. And you make a man who says just wars for the promotion of Christianity a saint? Oh, God forbid, but Christianity did it, Catholicism did it. And what have they done? They have murdered and massacred and committed mayhem in the name of God. God is love. But they sure didn't do it in the name of love. So that was the excuse for Spain and France and England, the Netherlands, all of the little European countries, Russia even, saying, oh, we'll conquer this part of the world, we'll conquer that part of the world, we'll abuse and rape the ground, we'll take the gold and silver, we'll kill off the natives, we'll make the natives mine, we'll take the natives captive and sell them into slavery. So what would we tell you? We would tell you there is no just war, there is no justification for war, and there's no justification for simply taking land to expand the government. Governments are temporary. People, well, the people living on the land are real. The governments are just an idea run by a bunch of people who think they have power and don't realize that they're just people who are going to die in a few years, and they shit their pants just like other people do. Oh, you think that's a harsh word for a holy man to say? Well, let me tell you this, they get old and they go right back into diapers like they were in when they were babies. That is the state of your leaders. And that is what we think of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. It is an absolute lack of love. It is an absolute abdication of responsibility on the part of the whole wide world.